episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. Shout out to Anubis. I was going, not back and forth, but we were talking, piggybacking on the age gap conversation. And some breaking news information is being released by with the Epstein files. And Shador, I think he's been named the starter, and then he got his house robbed. So these are three topics we're going to talk about today. Also was a topic, Jada Black launched to talk about somebody got a porn star executed the husband because she lost custody of the kid. So I'm gonna throw that in there. So these are four things we are gonna be talking about. Shout out to She Hate Me for the $10 cash app he gave me on the last stream. Just consider y'all getting the second one because of him. So definitely make sure you all support. All support is appreciated. If y'all didn't hit me with that, that birthday support, then y'all can definitely, you still got time this month to do it. But anyway, so let's talk the Epstein files. I've been listening to some videos when it comes to the Epstein files. So let's talk about what's been going on recently with that. So basically, Jeffrey Epstein, notice how the media is kind of talking about it, but it's not really being talked about like that. And I've been talking to some people behind the scenes. I'm going to throw some stuff out there that they threw out there, and I'll let you know that comes. So basically, the Epstein, shout out to y'all that's been bringing this to my attention too. The Epstein file, not the official Epstein files, like a week ago, they released a lot of files out of Epstein's estate. A lot of files out of Jeffrey Epstein's estate. And Jeffrey Epstein, for those of y'all that somehow y'all don't know, is the financier that had Epstein Island, that Republicans were saying basically this is the deep state. All Bill Clinton, all these Democrats are in there. Somehow they thought all the Democrats are go to this island and none of the Republicans or none of the financiers, because a lot of these financiers fund both parties. At the level of money that some of these people have, they fund both parties for the most part. Like, you got some people that they got their own side projects, so they're gonna fund Democrats because they're more green related and this, that, and the third, or they got more social justice issues or liberal issues that they want to push. So obviously, and this is Epstein is Jewish. That matters. A little bit that matters. And obviously Trump has been pushing for years about the Epstein list, and who's in it. And him saying that he's not involved with Jeffrey Epstein like that he was somebody they knew because they're these 1%, 0.01% circles, that's coming to find out that's absolutely not true. And Trump is an old dude. Trump is like 80 years old. So Trump has had a long time to have a lot of tie-ins with a lot of people, but this Epstein shit is recent as far as his life. So he's lying, and I'm very confident he's lying. I don't think he's like buddy, but this idea that like he dealt with him like maybe in the 80s or 70s and doesn't deal with him more, like maybe I'm very confident he dealt with him like post 2010, like as late as that. And obviously Epstein supposedly had an air quote suicide, right? An air quote suicide. And somehow when he's in prison, he somehow hangs on all this bullshit, and y'all know what it is. So now, most people didn't even think these files were gonna really get released up until Trump kept running his mouth about it as like a cornerstone of him getting elected. And he decided to switch up, and all of a sudden he didn't want to release the files. And I personally think a lot of this ICE stuff, the way they went about it, the way they basically act like slave catchers, and make no mistake, I'm not against ICE at all. I actively encourage ICE to do what they do, like absolutely. I love it. I want it done the way it's being done, all of that. And in fact, they need to get more serious and start going after employers, but they don't want to do that because, again, financiers, right? So, but my point is, I do think a lot of the showmanship of like ICE and what they've been doing is really a result of trying to change the subject. I think Trump going from city to city and doing it as systematically as loud as he's been doing is his way of trying to change the subject. Also, I do want to make another side note. Fuck Argentina. Fuck that country. If you know what they did to their black people. And I absolutely 100% disagree with giving them anything. Like, there's no fucking reason we should be giving Argentina any kind of $20 billion. That is complete bullshit. Let that country become a fucking failed state. I don't have really issue with Argentinian people, but as far as what they did to black people, let that shit become a failed state. That shit is bullshit. So we you know, I don't know what the fuck Trump is doing with that, but I absolutely disagree with that. Serious. And I just wanted to throw that out there. But that being said, you know, that's where we are. So now, you know, the Epstein, last week, the Epstein files for his estate got released. I'm assuming this is just trying to douse, you know, trying to get something out there so people can change the subject. But you know, these motherfuckers these white people are one-track ponies, and MAGA wants it out. MAGA wants, because they want it out because in their mind, Israel is basically blackmailing too many people. They got AIPAC has too much power. And this is one of the reasons. So this, just like how people wanted to open the carpet for DEI, this is one of those things. We're going to open the carpet. And that's what they're doing. And, you know, to their credit, to white people's credit, white people, especially MAGA has been very focused on this, to the point where Donald Trump was turning on fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene, but Donald Trump was targeting Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you know, and by the way, with Jasmine Crockett, you know you're fucked up when Marjorie Taylor Greene start to sound more like a statesman than you are. This is where, you know, when she can let the redneck go, you need to let the fucking sisterhood go when you're not even from the hood. Like, that shit is so fucking crazy. I'm gonna tell you something, and I know I'm seeming like I'm going in side tracks right here, but fucking Jasmine Crockett is basically wearing blackface in our faces. And I know people are like, oh, well, she's a brown to dark skin. No, she is a fucking 2-parent household. She's a Clarence. She's a female Clarence. And we are not supposed to respect people doing shit like that, because you are representing us in a bad way when you don't even come from that. I would be more tolerant if you came from that, but people that come from that, when they get to those levels, don't typically pop like that, because not that they're ashamed of where they come from, but they understand what that actually is. So this is why I'm very harsh on Jasmine Crockett. I personally think she needs to be primary. I really do. But anyway, so the files get left, and rather than people being on, and people are doing some really crazy stuff. Like, people put a database together, like an actual company, a nonprofit, got the emails, because they released the emails like really dumb. They really, you can tell they really want people to go through these 20,000 emails or 2,000 emails. However, I know it's a big number. It's up there like that. People put them in a database so they can be searchable. Shout out to AI. They can be searchable. You can search names, get all the things with the names and all of that. And this is how they're able to find out certain names and certain correlations. And so a video I was watching, I shared in my community tab, they were talking about the top 20 worst emails in here, as far as, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire with some of these emails. And you can tell these are real emails, because the typing is trash and shit like that. So anyway, now we get to what happened today. Now, a couple days ago, the House passed to release the actual Epstein files that the Justice Department has. These are the files that Pam Bondi is acting like she don't know where they are, or she got them but she can't find them. You know how when you let a family member or somebody borrow money, and all of a sudden now they want to act like they can't find a key, they can't find shit all of a sudden when you need to talk to them. They doing that shit. Or if you want to talk about a white people reference, when you ask a white person for a raise, how they get stupid and act like they don't know, they don't, like their IQ is dropped off. You know, that's what they're doing. And you know, people are staying on the ball. And this, again, you know, if white people were on this on other stuff that was in their best interest, other than constantly being on black people's dick all the time, we would actually get somewhere. Which is why on my last stream I get so frustrated with a lot of them being on some, you know, Reagan chicken dinner type shit. Because I'm like, look, if y'all want to be racist, but goddamn, y'all are racist. If it's 24 hours in a day, y'all are being racist 26 hours a day. I mean, can you take a fucking break? for a second. And so we get to the point, and shout out to Chris, I'll read super chat in a minute, but appreciate the $5. We get to the point where, you know, the House passed, you know, Mike, they got the signatures, because, you know, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was holding, and by the way, Pelosi's retiring, so you can't really say that this is like a trick with her. But anyway, Mike Johnson was holding this one chick up from getting in the White House. I forget what special elections seat, but it's been for like a month now. It's been for a minute, because she didn't want to get those signatures that would have essentially forced a vote in the Congress. Now keep in mind, this is like a Republican thing. The Democrats are not really, I mean, yeah, they're speaking, they need to release the files, read the files, because they know it can be advantage to them, but they're not pushing it too hard, because look, understand, a lot of them motherfuckers, this is one thing I want to say, a lot of motherfuckers know what's in the files. Like Schumer, like the people in the security security committee, they know what's in the files. Do not believe a lot of these politicians don't have a good idea of what's in these files. They know. Everybody in Congress don't know what's in these files. Everybody in the Senate though. But the people that have like security clearances and stuff, they know what's in these. They know what's in these files. So it's not on some nobody. They just are not going to speak on it, because probably it's people in their pockets. For example, one of the things that nobody's talking about but quietly happened, they kind of talk about a little bit on the news, is Larry Summers. Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary, I believe, under Obama. But Larry Summers, Treasury Secretary, he's somebody that was in the Clinton White House at a high level. He's had to basically leave all public like engagement. So anything he's on a board on, anything that he's like publicly on, whether it's a financial board, a board for a corporation, a board for like a nonprofit, he's had to, at least temporarily, and don't know when he's gonna come back, leave, because all of these interactions. And Larry Summers was one of the ones they mentioned as far as he's in the emails kind of a bit. So yeah, this is catching like a lot of people, yo. This is catching like a lot of, this is gonna catch, I mean, and these emails are nothing compared to the Justice Department emails. So that's already happened. Now they did the Congress, the signature got there, they did the vote. Keep in mind, Mike Johnson didn't want to do the vote. And now they just like an hour ago, the Senate, I believe, passed it. The Senate passed it. Yeah, so the Senate just passed it. So now Trump has to publicly veto this. Trump has to veto this. Now, it makes no, and I voted for Trump. It makes, but I'm not a Trump fan like that. It makes absolute, if he vetoes it, there is no reason he vetoes it. There is no reason. This got through, this is a Republican-controlled Congress. Mike Johnson Speaker, John Thune is the Senate Majority Leader. There's no fucking reason this doesn't, he shouldn't sign it. Unless you're guilty. With all the like the crime and all the shit that, you know, the charges, and even his, like as a white man, they're like, so people saying he won't sign it. I don't know about that. Because the truth is, I believe they got the votes to veto, to do a veto, to override his veto. I believe if he vetoes it, there's enough will to be like, no, fuck that. We're going to override his ass. I actually think you can do that. Because a whole bunch of Democrats, there's no reason a whole bunch of Democrats will be like, release that shit. That ain't gonna hurt us. It may hurt some Democrats, but it ain't gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the Republicans more. And they definitely got it in the city. Release that shit. Exactly. That's how it's gonna be seen. Because Trump was talking all that shit. So it's not gonna, and the media, and it doesn't matter if the media covers it or not, because the MAGA is not, this is part of MAGA theory, that all of them are PDF files. And it's mainly Dems. That they forget how much of them are in there, or the people they like are in there. So that's where we are at this moment. Like literally like less than an hour ago, the Senate approved it. Let me read Christian's thing. Shout out to Christian with the $5 super chat. They cutting Epstein loose because so many names are out. People want their names cleared. Israel is on the clock. Yeah. So I have a conversation with a couple of people, and what they're just saying is that, you know, we're going to be moving to deal more with the Saudis, because I've told y'all, they need that new prince. That crown prince is going to be the king. They really don't want to kill him. They kind of need him to maintain the petrodollar shit. Which meant, and that dude is smart enough to know there's some negotiation to be had here. We've done our part, minus a couple little things that y'all get annoyed about, but we've done our part. Especially with helping y'all with Israel and shit. We've done our part. Between them, Oman, and the Emiratis. They're like, look, we did our part, because they've been traditionally locked out of the American economy because they got too much money. And we weren't an oligarchy like we are basically now. They've been locked out, and really the Europeans ain't been letting them spend all that money. That's why they traditionally had to build shit where they are. Sure, they can buy shit to a certain extent, but when it comes to like real, like huge level assets, like the type of assets you got to get government approval to deal with, they're like, I don't know about that. So that's why they've had to take their money and develop their own. I don't know, maybe like, but it's real. Like somebody told me this, Israel's trying to get a 20-year security guarantee, because they see where the tea leaves are. Because they see the new generation ain't the old generation. And shout out to you, you know who you are. I know a lot of people don't like their names being put out on certain things. And this is one of the things that's going to be good about the master Discord that we do, because a lot of these conversations people will be able to have them without really worried about like being put out there to other people kind of funnel it up. Whew. So that's what it is. And if it comes out, because you know the Fuentes and that side of MAGA is on some, AIPAC has way too much control, too much stuff hasn't moved because AIPAC is blocking it, and it's got to be some of these people are being framed, and it's being pushed. So it's gonna be interesting. Because nobody, like the Republicans, like it's crazy how the Republicans, they really thought it was just Democrats in there. Like the Republicans, it's crazy how the white right really believes all the pedophiles are liberal, when that is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true. White Republicans, even the ones in the church, are just as fucked up as the left. They're just as fucked up. It's something that these white folks don't really want to grapple with. But yeah, so that's what's going on the Epstein file. So stay tuned to that. I'm sure, you know, BGS, there'll be some interesting conversations around that. Like I might get on arts later tonight, and that might be a topic of conversation. So if art's on, that'll be very interesting. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to jump into is this age gap thing. So somebody shared a video in the Discord of Fugazi. And the chick, it was 2 black women, and it was 2 black men. And the black women were on some, you know, they keep on using this daughter shit. You know, black women love to manipulate and gaslight black men with what you want your daughter. Let me tell you something. That daughter argument doesn't work in this type of environment. Because the reality is, we are in it, like this is the environment you all helped to create. You all are way more responsible. This feminist whore culture, you all put out there, you all push. So I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear about these are the same. They're brought to you by the same bitches that's talking about you shouldn't get married until you have a hoe phase. I'm like, y'all really? Oh, if you had a daughter, if I had a daughter, I don't want my daughter fucking period. Unless we're talking about a pathway to her being married. That's what I'm talking about. So let's cut the bullshit. Y'all wanna, make these little edits. Do you want your daughter dealing with a man 20 years older than him and 18? I don't want my daughter fucking anybody. So, but we're not gonna be able to have that. So what are we talking about? Let's be real. Would you rather your daughter fucking, let's just keep it all the way above. Here's a real question. Would you rather your daughter fucking a YN or fucking a dude 15 years older? Because that's the real choice. 10, 12 years older or fucking a YN? Well, this is what we do know. We do know if you fucking a YN and you're not getting no money from him, if you are getting money, he's most likely doing something illegal. If you're not getting money, you're basically fucking your value up to your future husband for sexual escapades, adding trauma, potentially exposing yourself to diseases, shit like having all these participating in this polyamory bullshit. Because all he like, so would you rather fuck with somebody that's an NBA young boy with STDs or fuck with somebody fucking 12 to 15 years older? Yeah, he may have been green all this time, but he had to build himself up and get himself to a career. Which would you rather take serious? Like, see, when you present it like that, it sounds different. Who you think? Let's keep it real. I'm 39. Let's say if I'm 45 years old, I had a kid at like 25, and I'm whatever. I'm in my mid 40s, and my kid and my daughter is like 20, 21, and she's dealing with somebody that is like 32, 33. I can have certain conversations with a 33-year-old that I can't have with a 21-year-old. If you dating a 21-year-old, let's keep it real. He just there to fuck. There's nothing really to talk about except don't have STDs and don't get my daughter pregnant. And that's really more her thing. Don't let that nigga hit raw and don't let him blast it. And don't get pregnant. Why? Because abortions have consequences too. And we're keeping it all the way real. The way the community is constructed now. Because y'all are not trying to, like black women stay saying, hey, you were too young, you got married young. So y'all already believe in casual sex. The fuck does the age matter? Once you're 18. The only thing I'll entertain is grooming if the person knew the person when they were under 18. And that's if you're past like a 4-year thing. Because if you were a senior in high school and she was a freshman in high school, that really doesn't count. That still operates under basic Romeo-Juliet laws. And another thing is, why are these conversations always had between women that are a certain age, always over 30, most of the time pushing 40, and never being had with women? Now, it's never shame to women because y'all know the women don't give a fuck. real. This is sexual politicking at its finest. Next year is the last year. After 2026, no millennials will be 20, in their 20s. They will all be 30 and up. It's interesting how this conversation magically started coming up after that. Interesting how that works. That sounds like mad pick-me energy. That sounds like mad sexual insecurity. That sounds like you can't get them D-boys, the few that do still got bread, sound like you losing out. It sounds like you can't talk all that shit like you used to do. You got India Love was one of the baddest chicks out in her prime, and you got India Love talking about I want to be married. You think that's a coincidence that she's 30 and want to be married? You think it's a coincidence the Megan Thee Stallion? You think it's a coincidence that Megan Thee Stallion is 30 years old and she magically found a nigga? Come on now. So I'm bringing this up because if a dude engages in this argument, like a Fugazi, whoever, black, white, whoever, there are certain facts that need to be laid the fuck down. Fact number one, this is a relatively new issue that women are pushing. That's number one. Number two, do you think women are the only gender that gets to dictate what's moral and not moral? Because for some reason, something is only immoral when the women say it's immoral. And that's always tied to sexual politics and your womb. The other thing I'm curious about is, how many niggas do you really know this fucking 18, 19 and just turned 20? Fresh in their 20s. How many niggas do y'all actually know at 30, 35 that are fucking consistently 18, 19 years old? Like, seriously. That are dudes that are like 35 and over. Megan the type of bitch too that'll leave a dude if he's falling off. So Clay go fuck around and find out. Like, seriously. Like, they act like they see as many black men fucking 18, 19-year-olds as 35 as they see black men with white women. It's just this thing where everybody wants to act like it's just out here and you see it all the time. No, you get triggered by it. Seriously. Y'all talking about a man, I can do what I want if it's consensual, this, it's consensual with these females. Y'all want to say, oh, they only doing that for money. Oh, so y'all dirty feet now? Oh, let me find out these young bitches on the dirty foot side of the game. I thought that was just something that they did overseas. You could have fooled me with all them black women, young black women you see with white men. Another thing, why don't you never hear black women talking about that when it comes to old white men? Why don't you ever, why don't I see a lot of black women calling out, cause that ain't immoral. Seeing white men, especially with the known power dynamic with a white man versus a black woman, that's never immoral. It's never immoral. All of these bitches that be boldly showing they gray as a fox, gray-haired fox white dude coming up with these magical fantasies of how they got together. I've yet to see that being called out. The only time I ever really hear y'all calling out AIDS gate is with black men. That's it. If I'm lying, I'm dying. This is why I keep saying a lot of people are invested in the black men or predator standpoint, because it allows them to keep black men on their toes more to sexually regulate black men. You got bitches till this day that know exactly what that Aaliyah situation is. They will sing along to an R. Kelly song and look at you and dare you to say something. Black women are some of the main women dating younger. They do that more than any other race. It is in our culture, especially I'm talking about African American women, any other group. And yet they the main ones. It's a power thing. You can go to hell with that shit. And men need to say it just like that. Yo, it ain't my fault y'all was fucking around in y'all 20s, having a good old dad time, and now the dynamics have changed because for the dudes that kept itself up, I got work to do. I'm not gonna front. Dudes that kept themselves up, dudes that put themselves in position, now you mad. Now you mad. Why you mad? At the end of the day, you knew you was gonna get a certain age. You knew your 20s weren't gonna last forever. And now you bitches 20s, 30s, about to hit 40s. Y'all mad because ain't nobody, when I say ain't nobody, the dudes y'all want that y'all are used to getting, a lot of y'all are falling off. That wall is getting your ass. So now what you trying to do is lock men out of the game or like pull a fucking, talk niggas out of dealing with the type of bitches they want to deal with. Isn't it immoral? Bitches, abortion is immoral. You fucking out of wedlock is immoral. It's only immoral if you say it's immoral. Bitch, fuck you and your matriarchal politics. Y'all won't, if it's so immoral, why don't y'all go to other groups and tell other groups how they're immoral? Because you think, because them motherfuckers, like, it is in black culture, black men do not say you chopped after 30 or you chopped after 25. Asian culture dictates you're chopped after 25. White culture says you chopped after 30. And there are real reasons for that. Because white women do, look, man, I was watching The Witcher. And you got that, the girl that plays Ciri. Ciri's supposed to be a lot younger, right? The actress that plays Ciri is 24 years old. Cause I was like, yo, this bitch look older than like, I mean, obviously they're usually older than like being young like that they portray. But she look older. She look like, she definitely don't look like she like 21, 22. And yep, she's 24. So when that chick gets 30, her name's Freya Allen. She's English. And you already know how they be hitting the wall. Once she get like 28, 29, that's like her 35. And I like her, and she seemed to be a pretty good actress. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, don't even get me started on Vivica. Vivica was 38 dealing with 50 Cent. And 50 Cent was probably in his, mid-20s? And Vivica still, like, that apparently the best nigga she ever dealt with. And she was on her way out. This is a bitch that wasted 18 years. Think about that shit. And you know you're gonna have niggas that they're gonna, cause they know this is an angst for black women, whether it's Derrick Jackson, Ace Metaphor, somebody's gonna take on being a white knight for the age gap debate. They're gonna push it because the views are too easy. The only reason why a lot of these niggas may chill on that, because a lot of these niggas gotta make them hypocritical if their women are on the younger side. That's all that is. You know some nigga is gonna try it because the bitches are fucking sexually insecure as hell. And with the economy and everything, again, that's another reason a lot of black women are FBA. Because a lot of black women, that's to them, that's a way of locking men out of dealing with intercultural dating. They try to passively do that. It's like a Cold War. And I bring this shit up Because this is the thing behind the thing that I be talking about. When these people be having these conversations, they are not good faith actors. They want to keep their price as high as they can, as long as they can. They do not care if they got a lie cheater still to do it. That's cool. People will get to it later. That's cool. That's good, because Dr. T.S.I. Johnson needs to get more exposure. People care. Andre, see, this is where you don't really, you not being in American culture or Black American culture. People care because she's a bitch that used to look good. So yeah, it's cared about because it's being shared. So more people care than you think. So these chicks are washed. And what happens is they supposed to be clocked out. Y'all supposed to be with a nigga. But y'all in this situation where y'all want to be perpetually outside. So now you have all these wounds that are not really locked down to nobody for real. And so y'all are competing with the younger chicks. Y'all are competing with the younger chicks. And so y'all are competing for the economic, the money. Y'all are competing for the younger chicks and all that bullshit, that matriarchal bullshit. Now y'all trying to compete with, basically trying to come down on the men because you're trying to sideways competing with the women by shaming the men. That's what's going on. That's what's going on, man. And everybody acts like they don't fucking understand that. Yeah, these women fucked up. They're supposed to be clocked out with somebody, but they want to be outside, and now they're trying to enforce their will on the shit. That's what they're really trying to do. They think they're slick, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to guilt trip niggas into basically self-policing themselves from dealing with women in their 20s. This ain't got nothing to do with bitches in their teens. Let's keep it real. What they really want to say is you shouldn't be, if you're a certain age, you shouldn't be dating dudes under 30. I mean, dating chicks under 30. That's what they really believe. That's what they really want to say. So they sit there and they try to guilt trip you in the 18, 19-year-old shit, and then they'll move their way up. I would redirect that conversation when they say hi young. I'm be like, well, how young do you? I say, yo, cause Fugazi is with a chick. So what are we talking about? Like, it's immoral to have sex with somebody that could see. Now it's have somebody the same age as your daughter. Now it's have somebody the same age as your potential daughter. Do you understand how the fuck that sounds? Do you understand how the fuck that sounds? Yeah, they're trying to change the culture. They're trying to shift the cultural norms. They're trying to shift the taboos, shift the cultural norms and standards. And this is what happens when men just sit there and just let them do that. We're in the situation we're in today because dudes just let women have it. and never challenge that shit. I'm not saying this shit should never move, but niggas just straight up let women do what they wanted to do and just went with it on some guilt shit. To the point where you even hear some dudes mimic that shit. Yeah. Because in there, and that's why that has to be called out. You don't give a fuck about the black community because you got to remember, like again, it's all about sexual regulation. That's what it's about. It's about keeping men under control, and women that have that mindset are out of this world, yo. As a woman, it is not your place to even have those kind of thoughts. You're out of your element even having those thoughts. I mean, I'm not worried. The truth of FBA, there's no way they can. A lot of FBAs try to stay out of the gender conversation because there's no way of having that conversation without sounding dumb as fuck. Could you imagine if you? That's why they always got to frame it as interracial dating, which is funny because you can interracially date here. Oh man, you dealing with them women and they ain't got no rights, they ain't got no value, they ain't got this, they ain't got that. Oh, so all y'all got like 6-figure jobs, huh? All this shit, y'all asking niggas for all this money that y'all clearly don't need because y'all not like the third world bitches, right? Like they want to have it both ways, yo. They want to be these empowered women that men are supposed to pay their way. Y'all want to be a business partner, but an employee at the same time. That's why I say go ahead and date outside your race. Go make that work with another race. Because if you can make that work in another race, if you like it, I love it. Make that work with another race. Go ahead and take your ass to Hispanic land, white land, Indian land, Asian land, and go ahead and go ahead and tell them that shit. And let's see how far we get. Let's see how far we get. You're gonna get just as far as that chick that unfortunately got killed dealing with them white dudes. That's how far y'all gonna get. Let's see how far y'all gonna get playing that game. I'm like, yo, at that point ain't nothing to talk about. Ain't nothing to talk about. It is not a conversation. I'm not about to have no tug and war shit where y'all just say any kind of crazy shit. Black men got to start practicing discipline that when black women talk crazy, we just cut the conversation. All right, we getting rid of this conversation early today. And then if black women keep talking stupid, then black women won't be on this panel because they don't know. They have lost the ability. They have lost their mind, and until they find it, we're not gonna have them up unless they're like a content creator and they've shown that they know they not talking stupid. Black men got to start having that discipline. Start having that discipline. You talk crazy, you gonna get crazy results. Meaning you're gonna get ignored. I mean, that is literally like they act like that's some patriarchal front. You notice how these women, when it's to their advantage, they are willing to throw anything and everything away. Now all of a sudden, any baby that comes out fucked up is because of bad sperm. not because these wombs are tore the fuck up. You know, these women, you know, they can have kids at 50 years old. Oh, it's just a spur. I mean, y'all just lying. Yeah, you just got, when they start talking crazy like that, all right, yeah, we're done with this conversation. I'm not, once you get to past a certain level of logic, you get away from a certain barrier of logic, this is not a productive conversation. Seriously, especially if we not fucking. If we not fucking, oh, hell no. Yeah, they always, you know, reserve the right to, if they always love annexing light-skinned women when, just like the Iko situation, even other women with Big Sean, even other women, and shout out to that Dumper video, it was really good. Even other women are starting to say that Iko, man, I heard some of her lyrics, I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell to the motherfucking no. Hell no. Hell to the motherfucking no. They love doing that. Like any other time, they wouldn't stand Cassie. Cassie's like a mutt. But any other time, but when it come to get a black man, oh, they all black. Exactly. That's what it is. And they're not serious. And that's why black men should just say, no, date outside your race. Because we know y'all not gonna be able to act like that outside your race. So a lot of y'all just not gonna get picked. And a lot of y'all gonna be mad. But black men tolerate that shit because they believe there's like an obligation to put up with black female bullshit because we're in this situation. It's crazy, yo. They be dead ass serious. I'll be back. Yeah. So yeah. I'm sitting there about ordering pizza. Dude asked me like, where am I from? I'm like, and I forgot I got this Arab shirt on. It's actually a really good shirt that I was given a long time ago. I mean, I don't. I mean, I mean, the thing about it is, we give these different terms so you can properly identify the bullshit. But it really don't matter. You just need to understand that anybody that says anything, they're always saying it for what's in their own best interest. So that's not necessarily. Here's the thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you understand what's in somebody's best interest, you're gonna greater understand. Okay, where is the reciprocation at? What do they actually want? And how can we work? You know, how can I give you what you get, what I want, give you what you want, and I get what I want? That's how that typically works. That's the idea behind that. So that in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But where it becomes problematic is when we're having these more philosophical conversations that can lead into general action. Now what happens is people have an incentive to waste time and have bullshit ass conversations and waste time. So what they're getting out of the conversation is they're getting an emotional, basically they're getting that kind of emotional tug of war of shit. Emotional tug of war shit. You know, like where their attention's being paid to them and stuff like that. Attention's being paid to them and stuff like that, and they're being seen as they matter because the dynamic. What's up? The dynamic in a lot of those conversations is really men are trying to convince the women of some shit. So it's like we're trying to convince the women to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and it's kind of like we're doing this uphill battle, so that gives them a better understanding of a better importance, because we're sitting here trying to, you know, you should do this and do this, and we honestly, you know, we've been spending those breaks for way too long doing that. And what happens is after time people get comfortable with that because there's no action. There's no action behind that. So it's not no whether it's it don't even got to be necessarily consequences. It could be, you know, you're moving in a direction and you're serious. I mean, you saw that with the Epstein stuff. Think of all the things that all these people jumped up and down and did with the Epstein files. Think about that. Think of all of the jump up and down, all of the tactics. Think of the fact that they were like, I think a lot of this ICE stuff to create this climate to change the subject. And in the end, this is what people keep talking about when it comes to reparations and when it comes to our rights. Our rights. You know, you got to stay focused. It's designed to take you off the focus, which is a tactic that works very well at the group level. If you're not focused as a group enough, because then you start having other people that undermine stuff, and then we don't control our communication lines like we should. So you gotta think about that. And so this is not, I'm not just talking shit to be, I mean, I really should have cataloged and organized myself better in what I have. But this isn't just me just talking out my ass. All this stuff always has a segment, a practicality to it. Motherfucker thought I was Arab. Because he asked me, so you got an Arab shirt on. I was like, oh, my bad. And he's Arab. That's why. Boy, I tell you, I don't even be thinking about that shit. I told you, man. You know, I can blend. Like if I need to, I can blend in, yo. I mean, shit. That's why they got an issue with the Beyonce situation. They already try to float rumors that Jay-Z was dating. No, I believe Jay-Z absolutely knew Beyonce before then. Because I remember. Now, whether y'all want to talk about dating or whatever, here's the thing. Let's keep it all the way real. Jay-Z is not allowed to date Beyonce because he was in certain circles around her. Like, if you around her when she was like 16 or 15, 16, 17. He's not allowed to deal with her like, okay, you knew her when she was 16. That means you can't never date her, even if she 18, 21, whatever. Because that's not how that works. I mean, shit, right now, you see they don't even be talking about Josh Giddey no more. I could have did it. That's some shit that I, had to look for it. Oh, I could have pulled that off. I probably don't got the height that they want, but other than that, if I was like 5'8", 5'9", oh hell yeah, I could have did that. If I would have, dealt with the smart shit, cause that shit's some hard shit. I don't act like, I'm that on point. And it's not just so much raw intelligence, it's also like emotional control doing that shit. You gotta have a certain psychological profile to be a spy. If you actually ever looked into that. Yeah, I went to a place. It's called Benny Capital. It's like a New York pizza style place. Yeah, and that was done within the confines of the Jehovah's Witness Church. But the thing about it, and you don't see no dudes out here promoting the idea of, oh, everybody should just be getting fresh off the boat. That's not what people are saying. But they keep on putting that out there because they keep on always wanting this specter of men are bad. Even though the women are doing way more underage fucking than what they want to be honest about. No, and white people are not going to they're not going to use their airways to make a white dude a predator. Which is why they like, there's nothing to see here. But they quietly traded him, and he's on the fucking Bulls. And they're letting him have his career. Now, he ain't getting none of the kind of pushback it's like a fucking Deion Sanders is getting and all of that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And what happens is, people want to make it an issue when they want to make it an issue. They don't care. They try to act like I remember when I was at Glennon situation. Yes, I thought what Glennon did was stupid, but they don't care. They want to, oh man, is this what we stand for? You go look at like the age of consent laws in the UK, man, they don't give a fuck. It's like you gotta separate what you give a fuck about versus the people around you. I'm not about to pay for the sins of everybody around you and what they own. I'm not about to do that. So you're not about to sit there and bring that shit in this conversation like, motherfuckers are promoting some shit. At the end of the day, these bitches gonna fuck on the dick. Let's keep it all the way real. These bitches gonna hop on the dick they wanna hop on. That's what it is. And as long as this conversation, I used to say that with George Megan, as long as this conversation is aimed mainly at men, well, if the men don't try, well, there's bad men out here. And a lot of these women seem to be sexually attracted to that. What about that? If y'all gonna have a one-way conversation, we don't need to have it. And they get mad with that. I'm not about to just open this door and then all y'all want to do is ignore, because now you got a lot of older women preying on younger females. Dude brought that up with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she like women. But she's speaking on heterosexual, she's speaking on men because that's where the money is. Bitch, if you like dealing with women, bitch, fuck you. You stay over there. Don't speak on men. Stay over there with your liquor license. Stay over there. Don't be always, but they love talking about men because that's their favorite way to gatekeep. That's their favorite way to backdoor women into being gay. That's an old trick. And they still pull it. Princella, all of them. They take advantage of the bond of the men issues they have, because the reality is they trying to control men and they get played trying to control men. That's a dude who used to be in this space. Yeah, man, I got daughters and blah, blah. I'm like, yo, man, Teach your daughters not to be out here throwing that thing out there. Teach them to be, if they gonna be with a nigga, be with that nigga. Not no, I'm gonna be with a nigga, he's a starter in my roster, but I'm subbing in other dudes. Every time you open that door, you expose yourself to sexual trauma. You expose yourself to sexual trauma every time you do that. Again, all these baby mamas NBA YoungBoy got, and this nigga got, like, open hurt. That tells you all you need to know. These bitches don't care. Yeah, they don't care. And they want to act like this shit ain't out here. No, I'm not justifying shit. But at the end of the day, look at fucking Nicki Minaj. Look at who she got with, ended up getting with. They don't care. So you don't get to all of a sudden care when you're trying to sexual politic me. No. The only time, like, let's keep it all the way real. When the fuck do you ever hear black women use even a word immoral? When do you hear them say that? The only time you generally hear black women say something is immoral is when it's this. That's immoral. Bitch, give me some examples. Give me like 2 examples of other things you find immoral. Give me 2 other things other than this that you say is fundamentally immoral. That ain't got nothing to do with this. They gon' freeze. Because to them, it's only immoral, like it's immoral because they don't like it. It's not really immoral. What is immoral like about sex between 2 consenting adults at 2025? That could be your daughter, okay? But she's not. She's not. So let me get this straight. Let's say you have a kid at 20 years. Let's say you have a kid at 18 years old. You have a kid at 18 years old. You go to the military. You do what you're supposed to do. But you have a kid at 18 years old. So now you're are you telling me that the older she gets, that's the cap? Is that what we're saying? What are you talking about? Well, what do y'all have in common? Bitch, you don't have nothing in common with the niggas you fucking. The last 3 niggas, what have you had in common with them outside of music? Maybe. Or y'all come from the same socioeconomic background. What are you talking about? What do you have in common? That we both want to fuck. What do y'all have? I mean, these are not good arguments. What do y'all have in common? Bitch, what do you have in common with the niggas? Like, get the fuck out of here. What do you have in common? It's immoral. What does a 20-year-old dude have in common with a 38-year-old bitch? But that don't stop that. But y'all ain't saying nothing about that. What do you have in common? What do y'all be having in common with that white dude? Oh, my bad. My bad. Y'all got contempt for black men. My bad. You don't even see these bitches get mad. I saw a picture of a bitch talking about I'm picking cotton for my massa. And you don't even see black women getting mad about that. Hey, bitch, fuck your feelings. Just because you feel some type of way about some shit, don't make that valid. Black women love believing it because I don't care how strongly you feel about it, that don't mean you valid. All your feelings are not valid. That's how you know they rule by their feelings. They think because they feel it is valid. No, bitch, no, it's not. Just because you feel it does not mean it's valid. That is not what that means. And the problem with black men is if a bitch screams about something enough, black men will be like, oh, mama, that mama gene kick in. No. That's why I always said, you got to check your mom. Because if you check your mom, you can check that chip. Everything my mom said wasn't valid. I turned out right on a lot of things. A lot of things. But because she feel it, it is. And they don't say that's immoral. You don't even hear the black women saying white men killing black women is immoral. But it's immoral. I'm like, that's the best those are the best arguments you can make. That's the best you can do. Because I'm telling you right now, most dudes don't give a fuck. Cause let's keep it real. If you like a nigga, if you like a dude, you not gonna not fuck him because he's got a history of fucking younger bitches. If a dude is 38 years old and he got a history of fucking 23, 22-year-old bitches, you not gonna not fuck him if you sexually attracted to him. What y'all want is y'all want permission to call somebody a predator, even if they dealing with somebody above the age of 18. That's really what y'all want. And y'all, but see, I'm gonna force y'all to admit that y'all are doing that because a lot of y'all are y'all can't, because nobody, y'all can't get the niggas y'all want no more. Y'all are aging up. A lot of y'all are getting chopped. And y'all don't know what to do. So y'all are defaulting to what y'all always default to. We gonna try to arm twist the men. But the problem is, it's too much information out here now. Exactly. So anyway, y'all, appreciate y'all for checking me out on round 2. You know, be sure to check me out next time I go live. I may be on Arts, I don't know, but I'll let you know. With that being said, it's Edward signing off. Peace.